Far beyond the solar system, inside a massive floating structure of light and metal, the Galactic Council gathered to judge a small blue planet called Earth. Hundreds of alien species filled the chamber, each very different in shape and size, some tall and glowing, some covered in scales, and others made of living energy. At the center of the room, a giant hologram of Earth slowly rotated in the air. The planet looked peaceful from far away, white clouds drifting over deep oceans, green land shining under a yellow sun. But the Council was not looking at beauty, they were looking at weakness. A tall silver-skinned alien named Councillor Varex stepped forward, his long fingers pointing at the hologram. "This," he said calmly, "is one of the most unstable species we have ever observed." The screen changed, showing images of human wars, cities burning, soldiers fighting, missiles launching into the sky. Some council members made low sounds of amusement. Another alien, large and covered in dark armor-like skin, began to speak. "They fight each other constantly," he said. "They destroy their own environment. They are controlled by emotion, not logic." More laughter echoed across the chamber. The humans had no idea they were being watched. For thousands of years, the Galactic Council had silently observed developing civilizations, deciding which ones were worth contact and which ones were not. Earth had finally reached the level where it could be judged. A small insect-like alien raised one of its thin arms. "They have not achieved faster-than-light travel," it said sharply. "Their technology is primitive compared to ours." The word primitive floated across the chamber like an insult. Councillor Varex nodded slowly. "They are divided by borders," he continued. "Their leaders do not trust each other. Their history is full of violence." The hologram now showed news footage of protests, political conflicts, and natural disasters. From the Council's point of view, Earth looked chaotic and immature. After several minutes of discussion, the High Chancellor rose from his seat. His body shimmered with blue light as he spoke with authority. "The vote will now begin," he announced. Symbols appeared in the air above each council member, glowing red or green. Red meant Earth was considered a threat. Green meant Earth was insignificant. One by one, green lights filled the chamber. The decision was clear. Earth was officially labeled as low intelligence, no immediate threat. Some members even laughed openly now. One alien said quietly, "They will destroy themselves before they ever reach the stars." The chamber slowly began to empty, the council satisfied with their decision. But before the hologram shut down, something unexpected happened. A small alert symbol blinked in the corner of the projection. At first, no one paid attention. Then the system's artificial intelligence spoke in a calm but serious tone. "Unknown transmission detected leaving the Sol system." The chamber froze. Councillor Varex turned back toward the hologram, his silver face suddenly serious. The screen zoomed outward, showing Earth's solar system from a distance. Near the orbit of Jupiter, something dark and metallic moved silently through space. It was not natural. It was not a satellite they had placed there. It was human. The object released a powerful signal directed toward deep space. The frequency was advanced, structured, and encrypted. This was not random noise from a primitive world. This was intentional. The High Chancellor stepped forward again, his glowing form now dimmer than before. "Analyze the technology," he ordered. The AI paused for a brief moment before answering. "Signal complexity exceeds expected human capability." A strange silence filled the chamber. The laughter from earlier now felt distant and foolish. Far away, on Earth, humans continued their normal lives, unaware that they had just surprised the most powerful council in the galaxy. The metallic object near Jupiter slowly changed direction, disappearing into the darkness beyond the solar system. Councillor Varex stared at the fading signal, a new thought forming in his mind. Perhaps they had judged too quickly. Perhaps they had only seen humanity's past, and not its potential. Because when humans are underestimated, they do not stay silent forever. The signal that left Earth did not travel without purpose. It was not a mistake, and it was not a test. Deep under the surface of Earth, in hidden facilities built beneath mountains and oceans, a small group of human leaders had already known they were not alone. For years, strange objects had been detected near the edge of the solar system. Unidentified satellites hiding in asteroid belts, silent probes watching from dark space. Humans had pretended not to notice. But they were watching back. In a secure underground room, scientists and military commanders studied alien technology recovered from one of those silent probes near Jupiter. The probe was not built for war. It was built for observation. That meant one thing. Humanity was being judged. Instead of panic, something unexpected happened on Earth. Nations that once competed with each other began sharing information in secret meetings. Old enemies sat at the same table. Not because they trusted each other, but because they understood something bigger was coming. A global project was formed under a hidden name. Project Ascension. Its goal was simple. If the galaxy was watching, Earth would not appear weak again. Scientists worked day and night to reverse engineer alien materials. They studied the strange metal that could repair itself. They studied the energy source that produced no heat. They studied the encrypted communication signal that moved faster than light. Within 5 years, human technology began to change rapidly. Publicly, the world still looked divided. Countries argued, news channels showed conflict, people continued their normal lives. But behind the scenes, everything was different. A massive shipyard was secretly built on the dark side of the moon. From Earth, it was invisible. From space, it looked like part of the shadows. Engineers designed ships not just for defense, but for deep space travel. These ships were not large and slow like science fiction dreams. They were sharp, fast, and built for survival. Artificial intelligence systems were trained using human history of warfare and strategy. The machines learned from every battle humans had ever fought. They learned from mistakes. They improved faster than any human mind could. 20 years passed quietly. To the Galactic Council, Earth still looked primitive and chaotic. They stopped paying attention. They believed humans would destroy themselves before ever becoming important. That was their greatest mistake. On Earth, a final test was prepared. Inside a massive underground launch facility, leaders from different nations stood together. There were no flags in the room. No national symbols. Only one emblem. A simple image of Earth surrounded by stars. The first true interstellar human fleet stood ready beyond the moon's shadow. Silent and invisible. The ships were powered by technology once considered impossible for humans. The same species that had been mocked as emotional and violent had turned those emotions into focus. Turned conflict into cooperation. Turned weakness into strength. The launch command was given quietly. No public announcement was made. No celebration happened. One by one, the ships activated their engines. Space itself seemed to bend around them. Then in a flash of controlled light, the fleet disappeared into deep space. Their destination was not random. It was the exact direction where the Galactic Council signal had once originated. Back in the distant council chamber, long after Earth had been labeled insignificant, a monitoring system detected something unusual. Multiple energy signatures leaving the Sol system at impossible speed. The system flagged it as an anomaly. But no emergency meeting was called. Because in their minds, humans were still primitive. Still divided. Still harmless. They did not understand that silence can be more dangerous than noise. And they did not realize that while they laughed at Earth, humanity had already begun moving among the stars. Not as students, but as something far more dangerous. For many years, the galaxy believed Earth was nothing important. The Galactic Council had already forgotten the small blue planet they once laughed at. Their attention was focused on powerful empires, trade routes, and political conflicts between advanced civilizations. No one was watching Earth anymore. That was exactly what humanity wanted. Far away from the Sol system, hidden in deep space, the first human fleet moved quietly through the darkness. The ships were small compared to the massive alien war cruisers. But they were fast, silent, and extremely advanced. Human engineers had designed them to avoid detection. Their engines produced almost no energy trace. Their hulls could bend light and disappear into the background of space. The fleet's target was a distant colony belonging to the powerful Zarelian Empire. The Zarelians were known for their strong military and their loyalty to the Galactic Council. They were also one of the species that laughed the loudest during Earth's judgment. Their outer colony, called Kareth Station, floated near the edge of a bright red star system. Thousands of workers and soldiers lived there. To them, it was just another normal day in the galaxy. Trade ships arrived, patrol ships moved around the station, and life continued peacefully. Then something strange happened. One by one, the defense satellites around the colony stopped responding. No explosion happened. No alarms were triggered. The satellites simply went silent. Inside the command center of Kareth Station, officers began checking their systems. They believed it was just a technical failure. But before they could investigate further, every screen inside the station suddenly turned black. For 3 long seconds, there was nothing. Then a message appeared across every display. Simple words written in a language the galaxy had once ignored. "This is humanity." Confusion spread across the command room. Some officers looked at each other, unsure what the message meant. Then the second line appeared. "We remember." At that exact moment, human ships revealed themselves from the darkness. Dozens of sleek vessels appeared around the colony like silent hunters. Before the Zarelian defense fleet could react, human weapons activated. Precise energy strikes disabled engines and communication towers. Every attack was controlled and strategic. Humans were not destroying the colony completely. They were shutting it down. Within minutes, the powerful Zarelian colony was helpless. Their soldiers were confused and unprepared. They had never considered the possibility that a so-called primitive species could attack them. One Zarelian commander stared at the tactical screen in disbelief. The attacking ships were not large, but their movements were perfect. Every maneuver predicted the enemy's reaction before it even happened. Human artificial intelligence had already calculated every possible defense strategy. Within 20 minutes, Kareth Station was completely under human control. No massive destruction. No chaotic battle. Just quiet, perfect execution. Before leaving, the human fleet sent one final transmission across the galaxy's communication networks. The message spread faster than any rumor. Across trade stations, military outposts, and council monitoring systems, the same words appeared again and again. "This is humanity. We remember." Back in the Galactic Council chamber, alarms finally began to sound. Officials rushed into the room as reports flooded the central system. An entire Zarelian colony had just been captured by an unknown fleet. Energy signatures matched a developing civilization. A civilization the Council had already judged. A civilization they once called primitive. Councillor Varex stared at the incoming data, his silver face completely silent. The High Chancellor slowly turned toward the hologram of the captured colony. For the first time since the Council had existed, a single word was spoken with uncertainty. Humans. And suddenly, the galaxy realized something terrifying. Earth had not been silent because it was weak. Earth had been silent because it was preparing. And now, humanity had made its first move among the stars. The news of the captured Zarelian colony spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Trade stations, military bases, and deep space travelers all heard the same strange message. "This is humanity, we remember." At first, many civilizations believed it was a mistake or a misunderstanding. But the data coming from Kareth Station told a different story. The colony was not destroyed. It was taken with perfect precision. No massive explosions, no uncontrolled chaos. Just a clean and calculated operation. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the atmosphere was no longer calm. The same aliens who once laughed at Earth were now speaking in serious voices. Large holographic maps of the galaxy filled the air above the council floor. Red warning markers appeared across several star systems near the captured colony. Councillor Varex stood silently while military advisors explained the situation. The human fleet used advanced stealth technology, one advisor reported. Their ships moved without detection until the attack had already begun. Another advisor added more disturbing information. Their weapons show signs of adaptive targeting systems, he said. They changed strategy during the battle in real time. This was something very few species in the galaxy had ever achieved. The High Chancellor slowly walked toward the center of the chamber. His glowing form dimmed slightly as he looked at the data reports. "For years we believed Earth was a primitive world," he said quietly. "No faster than light travel, no unified government, no advanced military power." He paused for a moment before continuing. "But clearly we were wrong." Across the galaxy, several powerful empires began preparing their fleets. They feared that humanity's attack was only the beginning. Some leaders demanded immediate retaliation against Earth. Others were more cautious, because something about the human strategy was unusual. After capturing Kareth Station, the human fleet did not continue attacking random colonies. Instead, they disappeared again into deep space, almost like ghosts moving through the stars. Weeks passed with no new attacks. Then suddenly another military outpost belonging to a powerful empire lost communication. Just like before, the defenses went silent first. Then the human message appeared again. "This is humanity. We remember." The pattern became clear. Humans were not attacking civilian worlds. They were targeting only military installations and strategic locations. This confused many council members. If humans wanted revenge, they could have caused massive destruction. But instead they were showing control and discipline. Some smaller alien civilizations began to feel something unexpected. Relief. Because human fleets had already passed near their systems without causing harm. In fact, in one remote star system, pirates attacking a small trade colony suddenly disappeared after a group of human ships arrived silently. No announcement was made. No reward was requested. The pirates simply vanished. This made the situation even more mysterious. Were humans conquerors? Or something else? Back in the council chamber, Councillor Varex stared at the hologram of Earth rotating slowly above the floor. The same small blue planet they once mocked now looked very different. It was no longer just a primitive world. It was the home of a species that had learned from thousands of years of conflict. A species that had turned chaos into strategy, and pain into strength. The Council finally made a decision they never thought they would need to make. An emergency galactic alert was issued to every major civilization. The message was short but serious. Humanity is now classified as a high-level strategic power. For the first time in history, the Galactic Council was no longer studying humans. Now they were afraid of them. Because the species they once laughed at had become something the entire galaxy could no longer ignore. And deep in space, the silent human fleet was already moving toward its next target. The galaxy was no longer calm. Every major civilization had now heard about humanity. The species that was once ignored was now moving through the stars with quiet power. Military stations had fallen, defense fleets had been disabled, and powerful empires were beginning to worry. But the human fleets still had not attacked civilian worlds. They moved with purpose, not chaos. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the leaders of the galaxy gathered again for an emergency meeting. The same chamber where Earth had once been mocked was now filled with tension and silence. Holograms of human ships floated above the council floor. Their designs were sharp and unfamiliar. Councillor Varex looked at the rotating image of Earth once again. This time no one laughed. The High Chancellor finally spoke to the entire chamber. "We must contact them," he said slowly. "We must understand their intentions before this conflict grows larger." Some council members disagreed immediately. "They attacked our colonies," one alien shouted. "They must be punished before they grow stronger." But others were more cautious. Because every battle report showed the same thing. Humans were always one step ahead. And no one knew how large their fleet really was. After hours of debate, the Council finally sent a transmission toward the human fleet. The message was simple. The Galactic Council requests communication with the leaders of Earth. For several minutes, there was no response. Then suddenly every screen inside the Council chamber changed. A new signal had arrived. The hologram in the center of the room shifted. Instead of a star map, A human figure appeared standing in a command room aboard one of the ships. He was calm and confident, wearing a simple dark uniform. Behind him, stars moved slowly outside a large window. The entire council watched in silence. This was the first time humanity had spoken directly to the galaxy. The human commander looked straight at the camera before speaking. "You judged us once," he said calmly. "You watched our wars, our mistakes, and our struggles." His voice was steady and controlled. "But you only saw our past," he continued. "You never tried to understand our future." The council chamber remained silent as he spoke. "You called us primitive," he said. "You believed we were too divided to become strong." The human paused for a moment. "But humanity survives because of our struggles," he said quietly. "We fight, we learn, and we grow stronger every time we fall." Images of human fleets appeared around the hologram. Ships moving through space like silent guardians. "We did not attack your people for revenge alone," the commander explained. "We attacked to send a message." The council members listened carefully now. The final words came slowly but clearly. "Never underestimate a species that survives its own chaos." The hologram disappeared. The transmission ended. For a long moment, no one in the council chamber spoke. The galaxy had finally met humanity, not as a primitive world, but as a powerful civilization that had earned its place among the stars. Far away in the Sol system, Earth rotated peacefully under the light of its sun. The same small blue planet that had once been mocked, now stood as one of the most respected powers in the galaxy, because the species that was once laughed at had proven something the universe would never forget. They mocked Earth once. Now the galaxy listened when humanity spoke.